Hi everybody, good evening. welcome. Can you see I have a guest with me tonight? I think you all knew that I was going to have Adrienne here with me. She's my eldest daughter.
Hello.
So yes, sorry, welcome. I could say, who are you?
Yes. Well, yes, the eldest of the two beautiful daughters.
Not at all vain then, or no.
Well, yes, I'm here to introduce Zippy Doodle Design to those that don't know it. Most of you do.
Yes.
It's been spoken about or linked to.
Well, we share, Abigail and I share everything that you do because we love it. We absolutely love it. So we like to share, make sure all the ladies know that it's available to them.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing with Facebook and things like that, sometimes you miss so much. It's just good to get it out there and have it repeated.
And it's also nice and fresh that we got things that other people, things that other people haven't done. We're new and fresh, and they come out of your brain.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and it's nice to actually, because I design all of the patterns, but I don't do the applique, so it's nice to see it as a design.
So what do you think? I'll show you in a minute, guys. What do you think?
See, this is because we had a problem in the week that this was going to be too small.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite big, but it has to be, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because then it's not fiddly and.
Well, it's the size that I've done it is 12.5 inches, which is perfect for a block and a quilt.
Yeah.
Because that's a block size.
Yeah.
But one of many, obviously.
Or a cushion cover or something like that.
Front of a cushion. And then you can put borders around it and make it bigger if you want.
Yeah.
But it had to be a decent size. I think you're used to doing lots of cards.
Well, that's it. You have to kind of just think you've got to scale it up for... because I'm not a sewer as such, it's difficult to think ahead of what it could be turned into.
Yeah.
Whereas my mindset is always on the front of a card, which is what, A6.
Yes.
So that sort of size.
So you're looking at quite a small thing.
So when I'm designing on A4, to me it seems huge.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking in card form.
And actually, we like things a lot bigger than that because obviously we've got to cut them out for a start.
Well, that's the fiddly bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And trying to fit it all together. And I did the deck chair a couple of weeks ago, and I was, fiddling about with that in paper form, and that was fiddly enough in paper.
But I think then you realised that it's not. Sometimes bigger is best.
Yeah, exactly. And and you can, like I said earlier in the week, you can scale up and scale down on your printer, but it's not always that easy to do that. So if it's bigger to start with, it's easier. Yeah,
and then if you get to grips with your printer, you can then bring the sizes down and experiment. Because most printers, you can go into preferences, can't you? And you can reduce the size on things. It's the percentages, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can reduce.
Yes. So you have to go into the workings a little bit more, don't you, as opposed to just hitting that print button.
But it's not too difficult. It's not too difficult.
No, it's not. And so it'd be interesting to see how
the process.
Yeah.
And so I'll show you how it looks like from the front, and we'll have a look at a little better view from the side in a little while. But you'll notice that I've made my own additions. I put a sort of what do they call it? A trailing bit of flowerage going on.
I don't know what you'd call it.
I'm trying to think of the words. It's not going to come to me. But so I did some extra flowers, and one of the first things that Adrienne said was, "Oh, you've added something extra." And that's
allowed.
That's a funny thing, because when it's your own design, you expect it to stay at that design. And sort of doing the Gold Club, when I give the ladies the patterns for the Gold Club, the online sewing group, I always say to them, this is just your starter for 10.
Yeah.
And then do with it as you wish.
Yeah. You see, if I was drawing it would not be in this simple form. It would have shading, it would have light, it would have highlights, it would have lots of different detail. And I suppose with fabric, that's how you bring out the detail and adding your own thing. Yeah. But to sell a pattern in its basic form, it can on the website look very boring indeed.
but it doesn't have to be.
No, but to a stitcher, sewer,
whatever,
stitcher, it's that like you say, that basic starting point
Yeah.
for you to then add. I mean, I wish that I could put, maybe I should start to do that, is to put the designs up in the way I see them in my head as a finished product.
Yes, you should.
Or maybe start Applique for a sampling.
No, that'd be too stressful.
Well, yeah, maybe. Get you to do it, Abigail to do it. And just to show a little bit more of the end product and what you can do with it.
Yeah.
Because that pattern is in its very, very basic
form. It's just line drawings, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And you know, the thing about Applique is that we've got kind of a basic shape going on. You can see it. The stitch, which I know you can't see very well at the moment, but we will have a look at it in greater detail. The stitch brings it to life. It gives it dimension. So even though we initially just stick the shapes down, because that's what I like to do, you don't have to use Bond-A-Web or Heat and Bond. You don't. But it's actually quite useful because it stops it fraying at the edges and it glues the whole thing down.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that. You can talk about it if you like.
And the other thing to mention is that the patterns all come reversed.
Do you know something? When I printed it off again this morning, I printed it off a few times. I printed it off again this morning to make this. I thought, oh no, I forgot to say you need to reverse it because we don't have left-handed. Well, we don't have left-handed sewing machines. And then I looked at it and I thought, oh, clever.
They're always reversed, only because somebody said at the very, very beginning when I launched the Applique side was that it needs to be back to front because of the Bond-A-Web.
That's right.
But if you weren't using Bond-A-Web, would you still need it reversed?
Not necessarily, because you can then trace it onto the fabric. Oh no, okay. We'll go through all that because I've got a light box.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then you can just trace it.
But the majority,
I would say, if you're a new person doing Applique, use Bond-A-Web or Heat and Bond.
Yeah.
Because it absolutely is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter then. You need to do a little bit of stitch. I wouldn't want you just to glue this down and leave it. You see, this is where I'm going to get a bit sort of schoolmarmy because
it's your preference, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, so you could finish it off with a zigzag. Some people don't like zigzag. But yesterday, Abigail did the long stitch around her heart, and that was quite nice.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
And what I was going to say was, you can actually use fabric paints. So paint specifically for fabric.
Yeah.
So it's colour fast. Not that I would ever wash this, but you can use fabric paints, and then you can put your shadows in.
Yeah.
And maybe you could add a little quilt topping as well, not painting necessarily, but you could, add a shadow in here with paint, or stitch, whichever.
Yeah, I mean, stitching would be fabulous, even if you just did a line.
Yeah.
Like, going back to the basics of the pattern, I'll draw this in my head as a sketch with the shadow in.
Right.
And then I have to take it out for the pattern, and I almost want to leave it in there just to...
Yeah, because it looks pretty.
Well, yeah, and it looks like it's not just floating in midair.
Well, so on the pattern itself, I think I've got it handy here. You gave us a lovely colour copy.
I just wanted to bring it to life and give you a sort of inkling of what it could look like with colour.
So you could still put shadows on that and give an idea of how you, the artist, want it to look like, perhaps.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be out of somebody's skill level, but that doesn't mean to say that later on it won't be.
Well, exactly, and you know, like we said before, it's your project. You do with it what you wish.
Exactly. It's your starter for 10. Now the other thing I did was I double-sided printed mine.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not cutting my paper shapes out and tracing them.
Okay.
So you can save paper if you want to. So I know some people get concerned about things like that. So I literally double-sided it, so you can do that, and then keep it safe. So for anybody that's watching now, Adrienne, where do they go and get this design if they haven't already got it, and how much?
It's zippydoodledesigns.com/applique. It's currently 99p. All the patterns that I do always start at 99p, normally for 24 hours. This is going to be 99p. We launched it yesterday. It's going to be 99p until tomorrow night. So you've got plenty of time to get it at that price, and then it will go back up to normal price $3.99 Thursday.
Yeah.
Just head over to the website and download it.
And Jackie thank you very much. Jackie has put the link on there.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, isn't she a good girl? Now, just a bit of admin here. You'll see double comments on this.
Yes,
I
can't keep up with the comments anyway. I'm looking on here, looking on there.
Well, I don't know why we have double comments on our screens, but we do. On the iPad you won't. Just so you know that you'll think, hold on a minute, somebody else said that, same person.
Oh, okay, fine.
But at least we get the names, which is something. Yeah, so that is the pattern. So you can go and yes, here's the pattern. Go and download that for 99p until midnight Wednesday.
Yes. Yeah, I was talking about that to Abigail yesterday because she said, well, is Mum going to change the price then at midnight? And I said, well, it'll probably be 7 o'clock Thursday morning. But I think I've found a way to time it so it.
Oh, really?
It cuts off at 99p from tomorrow at midnight, and
that's
$3.99.
You'll have to tell me how you did that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we need that. So the other thing is, let's just do a quick close up. So Adrienne, if you could transition me over to the side camera. There we go. So I'm going to bring that in so everybody can see that I've got a gold bit of stitching going on, and also you can see the foliage as well. You can see the
reflection.
Oh, right. Okay. And you can see the different sort of shades of pink, and roughly how it looks. It was a bad photo on Facebook, I must admit. So can you transition me back again, please, Adrienne?
Try.
Just click the button. That's it. Excellent. So let's just have a quick. Margaret says, "Can you purchase from use?" What does that mean? I don't know what that means, Margaret. Anyway, hi Mavis. Hi Crystal. Oh, Crystal says she's got it earlier, downloaded and printed ready.
Excellent.
Mandy, I've managed to download. Well done, Mandy.
Excellent.
Gemma says it's gorgeous. Oh, well done.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It seems to have gone down quite well because most of the patterns that I do are requests of customers.
Yeah.
So it,
Was I your customer?
I suppose so. So sometimes I'll randomly throw in a pattern that I really like. I've seen something in my head and think, oh, that would be a brilliant pattern, like the ballet shoes I did earlier in the week. I really, really loved those.
Yes.
And they were really, really simple to do. And then so most of the patterns on the website are requests from people.
Yeah.
So if you've got any requests, just drop them in the comments here, or drop me an email and or a comment on the website, and I can add them to the list.
Yeah.
And there's also the Applique group on Facebook.
Of course.
So there's a list in there. If you join the group, there's a list of things. I'm slowly working my way down the list, but there's quite a few.
Oh, that's good. That's nice, isn't it? Because it becomes very personal then, doesn't it?
And it's always great to have something. If I've got a spare 5 minutes, I just look at the list and I think, oh, okay, I'll start that. And I've never got a blank.
I would have to choose something that tickled my fancy,
so I kind of go up and down. I think, oh yeah, I fancy that now. So that's for how
don't fancy an elephant
quite
today.
Sporadic. Like I think it was Skype. Oh, could you do me a carp? And I thought, oh, yeah, I quite fancy doing a carp.
Yeah, carp's okay.
Yeah, so that it kind of trumped everything else that was on the list. But
oh hey, that's
well, yeah.
Was it artistic license?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's crack on a little bit. So what I've got here is a light box. Now I'm not going to use the light box today because the print that Adrienne has done is super duper. We can really see it very clearly.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But if you have got a light box, they are incredibly useful. You put your pattern on top of the light, and then you put your fabric over the top of that. And even if it's been already bond webbed and all of that, it'll still show through.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. It's quite a powerful thing. So if you've got a light box, then get it out and try it. And that's what they've been made for. So, but like I say, the print on these are really good. If you were to sort of try to trace anything else with a fine line, like maybe you've got a lovely stamp that you want to do in applique, then maybe a stamp line might not be as bold. But these are really clear. I don't know what thickness is it about 2 mil?
I don't know. It's setting 3.
Oh, setting 3
in Adobe Illustrator, but I was doing them really thick, and then I thought, well, people aren't going to know which side to cut the line.
And that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
outside,
it can
inside.
make a difference. And then somebody mentioned that they like to have all the patterns overlapping.
Right.
Not having a stitchy brain.
Right.
It didn't even occur to me. So I was having things butted against each other.
Ah, no, you'd like to tuck them in, tuck them round.
Which is so much easier to draw.
Yeah.
But it's no good if you're wanting to use Bondaweb to, if you don't want to stitch on top, and you want the pieces all to be together, then that's got to be overlapped. So every time I do a pattern, I go in and do it, and then I add in tabs afterwards.
Right, to make it so it sits underneath. Yeah.
And then it takes me about an hour to decide which goes 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why I have to cut it out in paper sometimes, because until you've done
logically,
it,
yeah. And sometimes you do it yourself. I think I followed it fairly well this morning, but then I ended up just doing it.
Yes. And it also depends. I mean, this is a fairly simple pattern in that there's not very many pieces.
No.
Some of the designs, have got 18, 20 pieces. So
it's just a jigsaw puzzle at the end of the day.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't matter. Well, sometimes it does matter which order they go in, because the picture wouldn't look quite right. But in other cases, it really doesn't matter what order you do them in at all.
No. So I've got a piece of Bondaweb here. Now, I want you to have a look. You can see the machine through it, so you can tell how good the lines are. And the other thing is, this is actually an ultra Bondaweb. It's an ultra hold. It's not normally what I would use. It's a lot thicker. There's a lot more glue. So it's kind of quite tough on the needle, in as much that the needle will pick up the glue.
Right.
So you need a Bondaweb light version, or heat and bond. Sorry, Bondaweb as is, heat and bond. This is heat and bond light, whereas this is heat and bond ultra, which is a lot more glue. I don't know if you remember touching Abigail's yesterday.
So what would you normally use an ultra for?
For things like if you're doing furnishing fabrics, thicker fabrics, leathers. Yes, and tweeds. I've done it on tweeds, so you're using that ultra layer that needs that extra bit of glue. It just so happens I've got a massive roll of it and I'm trying to use it up.
I see.
So all I'm going to do is trace through. So I'll just get my pen. So what I'll do,
Massive roll of it.
turn it down, Adrienne. So all I'm doing is tracing the design through, and I can see really, really clearly the shape. So that's all you're going to do. If you're going to try and follow along, then this is where you're going to be at. If you go a bit wriggly, don't worry, because by the time you get to cut it out, you're going to cut it out a lot more smoothly because you do.
Yeah.
And
the scissors will do that for you.
Yeah, and also because this is an ultra hold, it's very knobbly. Grainy, yeah. So it means that everything that you draw, it's almost like drawing on a pavement where you've got the texture. But again, once you cut it out, you lose that. And I'm going to do this quite roughly, and I'll get you to cut some of them out. So I've traced the main machine there, and the base, the plinth.
Yeah.
And then all I'm going to do is flip my paper over and start drawing all the other pieces. Now Adrienne has very kindly given us even the thread. So the thread, you can't see on that very well because it's gold, but the thread comes from the top of the spool around the machine and through all the parts, if you like.
Yeah.
It looks quite a fancy thing, and then it comes through the needle at the bottom, only pretending the needle. It's not a real needle, but it looks like it's going through. And you've got the dotted line there that you can actually then trace on to your piece of fabric once you're ready with a heat erasable pen.
Yes.
And then you can...
Yeah, and the needle as well.
Yeah, I forgot the needle on
I
there.
know, I noticed.
It's very obvious. I didn't realise until I posted it on Facebook. I thought, I haven't done the needle. So of course...
Let me cut that out then.
Yeah, well what I was going to say was, and I'll let you do that. Let me just cut this off.
Should you use fabric scissors?
No. Just what's to hand.
Have you got any others?
Oh, I've got a drawer full, love. Here we are.
Oh, there we go.
So don't ever think that and don't cut out exactly. Cut it out about 1/4 of an inch away from your drawn line. There is absolutely no point wasting your time being super accurate on your lines, because you've got to cut it out again on those lines, and I bet anything you like you won't be as accurate, because that will be the second time you've cut it out beautifully. So about 1/4 of an inch away from the lines that you've drawn, and that's when they get stuck up down onto the fabric, and then you cut round the drawn lines.
So would it be useful then, from a pattern perspective, to have that cut line?
Nah, because then it becomes too precise.
Okay.
I think it's just one of the sort of things you learn as you go along doing applique.
Yeah.
And sort of listening to the likes of me or Abigail or whoever, and you learn as well that actually, you know, I'm drawing a really scruffy line here, and I don't want to cut that out accurately now. I want to wait until I've got my fabric.
Yeah.
And also what I'm doing, let's see if we can switch to the side view, because sometimes we can see a little bit better. So on the side view, what I'm doing is I've lined it up on the heat and bond is lined up on my sheet there. You can see the patterns behind, but I'm not going to be drawing these out spaced out on this heat and bond.
No.
I'm actually going to move the heat and bond around. So this design here, you can just see it. I'm actually going to move my paper, my heat and bond, and I'm going to position it there so nothing is wasted. And that's a much better use of your heat and bond.
But if you know, if you haven't got very good, is it dexterity?
Yep.
Then that's why they're spaced.
Yeah, totally.
So that you don't have to worry about being close together, especially when you're cutting.
Yeah. And it also means that, you know, things like where all the scrap that you've got from this main body there that you've just done, you can use all of those pieces and save them, because heat and bond, whatever you want to use, steamer, seamers, all sorts. Even the scraps are incredibly useful.
I've just chucked them on the floor, but
thanks. Oh dear me, I didn't bring you up proper at all.
Sorry about that.
So I'll just do the hearts here. So what fabric do you want for the body of the machine, Adrienne? Because this is your choice now.
Well, I think we'll go for stripe. Oh, I've just seen the gingham though.
Gingham.
Yeah, quite like the gingham actually for the body.
Okay, well we'll do that.
And then the plinth will have this dark pink.
Right.
Fuchsia.
Yeah, it's a nice pink, isn't it, that one?
Yeah, matches my nails.
Oh, they're going to say it matches me knees.
No, well, they were very, very much like that colour last week.
Oh, you sat out in the sun, didn't you?
Oh, I never sun cream machines because I think they've never been burnt in my whole life. And what happened?
They burn.
Yes.
Lovely. So I don't think I've done all of them, but anyway, there we are. So all I've done is I've traced through. You can just see all the parts. So I've traced through on the paper side of the heat and bond, and if Adrienne could be really good and cut those out.
Okay.
So I want to talk to you about the next stage, really, because once you cut all your pieces out, obviously we're going to iron them onto our fabric of choice. I'm on my dustbin now.
Well, you wanted the spare bits.
And yes, we're going to stick them down to the fabric of choice, and then we're going to cut them out beautifully, neatly. And then it's the decision of what we do next. In other words, putting it onto the fabric.
Yeah.
Now you can use an applique sheet. There's a funny, Abigail can tell us what the name of this funny sheet is.
Yeah.
But it looks like plastic. I suppose it's a form of Teflon. I'm not sure. So you could use an applique sheet like this, or you can have this. This is a fuser mat. There's loads on Amazon. I think there's one from Gypsy, or several from Gypsy, and you can build up your design on mats like this. What I do suggest, though, that the body part of the machine, so in other words this part here and this part here, are quite big, so I'm not sure I'd want to take all of the paper off the backing and glue it all down, although you can do that.
Right.
the idea of using an applique sheet is to build up your design, layer it all up. This could be, you could do this with flowers, with a teddy bear, so you've got all those different layers going on. And actually you glue it down onto your applique sheet, so something like this or something like this, and then when it's cooled it just peels off.
Yes, it's one piece.
Yeah,
that's where the overlapping of the pattern comes in.
Absolutely. And at that moment in time you created the design, but you haven't actually put it onto fabric yet.
Yeah.
So you kind of got that sort of safeness.
Yeah.
And you can decide whether what you've done is great. If you stick it straight down onto the fabric, you might find, oh, it's not central, because for instance with that I could have put the sewing machine perhaps too far down or too far up, thinking I had this part to do, but luck was having it was fine.
Yeah.
But if you are doing it as one big motif, then
do it separately.
Yeah, you can, it's a little bit of a safety net doing it onto an applique sheet.
What if you haven't got a sheet? Would you just do it straight onto the fabric then?
Yeah, or you can use like a baking sheet.
Oh, okay.
Or
like parchment paper.
Yeah, I think. You've said parchment paper and I'm not sure now. Now you can get silicone mats and things like that.
Okay.
But the best one, if you haven't got any of these gadgets, is your brown mats that you would use for paper crafting. The ones where you maybe you know you're going to put hot glue onto the brown mat and you know it's not going to stick. You can just pick it off and it just flips away.
Yeah.
And that is a heat resistant mat, even though it's a bit like this. It's perfectly fine for applique.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you don't have to go out and buy something special. You don't. I just happen to have all the gear.
What about something like this?
That's my no.
Okay.
I'm on my cutting mat. Oh my gosh.
Would it just melt?
Well, first of all, I would have to frog march you out of the house. That'd be the first thing. No, it wouldn't melt, wouldn't necessarily, but it would buckle.
Oh, okay.
The whole mat would buckle.
Yeah.
Dear, invite around and.
You can see how intelligent I am in terms of stitching.
It's not about that. Right, so the body of the machine was gingham.
Yeah.
So we're just going to stick our pieces down. Now if there's anything you particularly want to see, please say, and I'll try and pick it up in the comments. Can you use freezer paper? I don't think so. I think they're called baking sheets. This has just come out of I'm just trying to think, because I've always had an applique mat. I haven't had to think about it before, but I don't think freezer paper.
No.
Because you've got to be able to heat the glue to stick all the bits together, and then when it's cool you just peel it away.
Yeah, I suppose in theory that's what baking paper is, isn't it? But
yeah, and you don't need to
cookies from sticking.
Yeah, it's not a silicone mat though, is it? That's not what I'm thinking of.
Google will know.
We'll Google it. It's a funny old thing, because years ago I would have remembered it, but I don't remember things anymore. Sorry, who are you?
There's no hope for me then.
Oh, it's funny how you just lose all that knowledge that you had.
Well, it's not relevant, most of it.
Well, I suppose that's what it is, isn't it? So your job now is to cut nice and neatly.
It's a good job on this line now.
Yes, on your good line.
Right.
So I'm using the dark pink for the base. And honestly, this is where your scraps are going to come in so handy, because some of these pieces are nice and small. And you could use flowery pieces as well. Let's have a look. Brown Teflon sheet. Yes. As long as it can take the heat. Like I say, if you don't mind using. Hold on, I'll just find my scissors. If you don't mind using a hot glue gun on it, hot glue gun, then it'll work.
Yeah,
it'll work.
Heat resistant.
Heat resistant. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they call them baking sheets. Lakeland have them if you go shopping. going to
Speedy
proper shops.
Gonzales. Oh no,
Oh no,
you're not precise.
No, because you're doing it.
I thought I was being a bit slow there.
So can I just cut all the other pieces out as I wish?
There is a specific order.
Come in colours.
Oh yes.
Is there another pink over there?
Oh, there's lots here.
Oh,
It's keeping my legs warm.
oh, like it's not warm enough in here. So I'll do this bit in this pink here. So this is where you can start using your odds and bits and bobs, and I'll do the cotton reel in that as well.
Do you know you doing that Making It Monday yesterday, that crumb quilting?
Oh,
I thought,
yes.
wouldn't that be nice to do that on this?
Yes.
And it's big enough that you could do that.
Yes. But that, crumb quilting, you can adapt to absolutely anything.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing a quilt that is like half square triangles, which are really precise. Yes, please. Then you can still use crumb quilting for that sort of thing. It looks amazing.
Yeah, and it's your own design then, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure about that pink for that.
It's a bit bright.
Okay, yeah, I might use this one. So is there any questions? Copper baking sheets. Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it? Sounds interesting. Baking sheet. Oven liners, yeah. Do you line it on the back of the fabric? Yes.
An oven liner. I have an oven liner. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
I think.
As long as it would take the heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try it and report back if I have to purchase another.
You can take some Peat
liner.
and Bond home with you.
Oh, right.
Let's think what else we need.
Got any chocolate I can take?
No. Oh, we don't have chocolate in this house. It's like, gosh, joking, aren't you? When I go to do the Tesco order and I say to John, "Oh, shall we get some chocolate?" No, I don't think so. It's like, what?
Oh.
It's like, what?
I tend to add things in at the very last moment.
Oh, do you?
After it's been checked. and then I check out.
Sometimes they sneak things in. Right, so yes, you are putting the Heat and Bond piece on the back of your fabric. So if you think about it, you don't want the glue on the front, you want the glue on the back, so it'll stick to the right side of your good fabric, whatever you're sticking it onto. But I'll show you all these bits in a minute when we've cut them out. So I've got these 3 little bits here. I can't remember what they're for. Oh, I know, that's the top bit and that's the needle bit.
Yeah.
So I think I'll use a little bit of this pink for all of those. And some fabrics you'll find are double-sided, which makes it super easy.
Stick it on whatever side.
Yeah, totally. I'll just turn that off for a moment.
And some of the things on the patterns I do are completely optional. Like these hearts, you could have just left it plain.
Yes, but is there a nice touch?
Yeah, and because it's a part of the detail on top of everything, you can add them at the end if you want to. It's not like you have to add them at a certain step.
Yeah, I mean, make the machine up and then look at it and think, well, actually, I prefer flowers, or maybe a little bit of patchwork you could put under the needle of the machine so it looks like you've done some patchwork. A little bit of your crumb quilting, if you've probably got some left over from last night.
Yeah, or you can mix and match the patterns as well. You don't have to stick to just this. You could have put a daisy on it or something from the other set.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, are there any questions? Oh, Yvonne's shouting at us. Good evening, just bought the pattern and the motorhome.
Oh, the
motorhome one.
Yeah, I love the motorhome. I particularly like the caravan one.
Well, Yvonne is a motorhomer, you see.
Oh, well, there you go then.
Yeah.
And there's a Roma home on there as well.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, somebody's got a Roma home. So I'll put that on there as well.
See, what you need to do is when you make them up is to send Adrienne a photo, or in the comments of when she posts it, when she launches it, post a picture.
Oh, I'd love to see.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what Sky's going to use the carp for.
I think she's made it.
Oh,
Sky, have you made the carp? I'm nearly almost positive I've seen a carp. I'm sure I have. I mean, I see so many wonderful stitchy things. Sorry, I've got a dustbin somewhere down there. See this little bit here at the top of the, for winding your thread round.
Yeah.
See how small it is?
And that to me is quite big when I'm designing it.
Yes. So
yes, anything smaller than that and it's
lost,
yes.
You see. Straight away it says nothing to it.
And although it adds, the detail that you want, it's too fiddly.
Too fiddly. So we're going to put it onto the mat, and I'm going to go on the side view in a sec so you can see me do that. But first of all, let's show you what we have cut out. And actually that's not bad, because I forgot what colour I did that. I know, you're so OCD.
We talked about that yesterday.
So look, those are all my bits, all cut out beautifully. And again, if you're not very good with your scissors and you worry about cutting out, but you can do free motion embroidery, I wouldn't worry about it, because by the time you've stitched it, even if you're a wriggly free motioner and you can't do a straight line, you mustn't ever worry about what you consider to be bad cutting and bad stitching. Okay, there's no such thing in my book, because all of that makes a beautiful picture.
Yes.
And the stitch,
and it's your work, isn't it?
Yeah, and do at least Josie is asking where she finds the applique patterns.
Just popping the link on here.
Oh, Lynn said she made the carp yesterday.
Oh, Lynn, I need to see then what it looks like.
I don't think we can post pictures on a Facebook Live.
No, that would be perfect.
Yeah, post when we're finished, Lynn, or go to Adrienne's Zippy Doodle Designs page and find a post that you can pop it in, because you haven't got a visitor thing, have you?
No, I suppose not. Well, if you're a member of the Applique group, you can post it in there.
Well,
or just email it to me. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
And I'll repost it.
Right, so we're going to have to go on the side view now. So let me just get that set up.
How are we doing for time? Are we all right?
Just making sure we're still okay. Well, we're 22, so we'll get some of it done and then we'll see.
Yeah.
So let me move. See, look at my selection of threads, ladies. I did some vine work, so I've got my greens in there. But look, I've got quite a good selection of pinks. And we can, you can have a look at that as we go along. Some I haven't even opened yet. Some I decided no. If you've got like just plain Gutermann thread, use it. I have used bobbin fill, so you might be interested to know about bobbin fill. It's a very fine filament. It's like the width of a human hair. And it goes into your bobbin. It absolutely lasts ages because it's so thin. You can put loads on a bobbin, and it just really helps with not getting that white look come through from the bobbin. Ideally, in the perfect world, your bobbin will have the same thread in it as the top thread, but I absolutely have no desire to change bobbins every 5 minutes.
I said to Abigail yesterday, why do you Mum always stitch in the wrong colour? She said, well, would you be bothered to change it every 5 minutes?
So right, so let me just get this set up for going that, and I'm going to give you the control, Adrienne.
Okay.
So we can just about see. We can just about see. I want to make sure that we can all. Let me give you that as well. I'm going to pass that over there. I'm going to try and make sure everybody can see this okay. Honestly, you can never judge where the camera is, even all these years. I want to get it so it's fairly central. So look, there's my design there, and Adrienne, like I said, has chosen the gingham design. Now, I don't particularly want to stick all of that down onto this.
No.
So I've got to think of a way where I can still do all the building up of the layers, and you don't have to do this, ladies. You can put this straight onto your fabric if you want to. So I'm going to just tear some bits away.
Right, okay.
I think that'd
be... hold it in place.
Yeah, and like the plinth part, so the piece down the bottom here, just see it, that goes over the top. So again, we'll just tear a little bit away.
Right.
Oh, hello, Millie. It's just, that's it. Just give her a little stroke. She always comes up to say hello. And, oh, there she is. I can see. Oh, you can't see her in that view. Oh, is she gone?
Millie, okay.
No, hold on, let's just say hello to Millie. Oh, Millie. Yeah. Look, there she is.
Hello.
She's up there. There we are. Oh, she's
Don't lick.
Yeah, she
Don't
licks.
lick me.
Lick. So what we're going to do is just tear some of this away. Now with the heat and bond, it's much easier to remove it than the Bonder web.
Right.
It's just how it is. It's a different sort of backing. So all I'm going to do is just cut some of this away, okay? And then we'll just take bits away as I need to. There'll be a little bit up here. And I just get my nail on there and just sort of manipulate it.
Yep.
You can't necessarily do that with Bonder web. It's not quite the same.
Just blue tack it or something.
What? Blue tack it?
Yeah, if you didn't want to peel it off.
Oh. No.
It's just not relevant.
That's not relevant.
Okay.
So I've taken a little bit off here, and I've taken a little bit off there, and really I should take a little bit off there, but well, let's just quickly do it. And that will help me build my design up, but I didn't want to put the whole of the machine down on the glue. It is perfectly fine to do that, don't get me wrong, but we have to wait for it to cool to be able to lift it up.
Yes.
So, could you just take a little bit away of this bit here?
Okay.
Sorry, we're not showing everybody. So Adrienne's just going to take a little bit away here, so it sits over the top of my machine. Okay. And then with all the other parts, if I just bring them in, here we go. I've got some really tiny bits here.
Is that enough?
No.
Oh.
Well, it'll do. It'll do.
Sure?
Yeah. I can get around it. So there's the first bit that goes on the side of the machine. It goes there. That's the kind of workings, if you like.
It's good to get the pattern out again to have a look at the final.
Yes.
Because you need to look at the numbers.
Yes. And we should be really good and go by the numbers. But you know I'm not going to. Let's have a look. So there's your map, and each one has a number. So this is 1, this is 2.
Yes,
3, 4.
Fact, this part is your first.
Yeah.
Because the machine sits over the top.
Over the top, but I still need to have the machine there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tuck that under, and I've taken all the glue off the back of this, okay?
Yeah.
Because then we can stick it down, and it doesn't matter. It'll cool fairly quickly. So I'm just.
See, this is interesting.
That.
You see, because when I add the tabs, I think, I must get it right, must order it right, because you can't add it afterwards. But it doesn't matter, does it?
Not really, because as long as you haven't ironed anything, you can keep moving things about. So I'm going to put that down there. Look, it's not straight, so I can just move it. I'm just being pedantic, but I can move it.
Yeah.
Then we've got the cotton reel, so we'll just pop that on there. So again, just peel the backing off, and we'll just pop it, well, about there will be fine, like that. It's very hard to see because it's quite light. I can't hold it up. Let me just, can you see? So far I've got the cotton reel there and the handle part there, the workings, if you like. And then if you can you take the heart backs off?
Yep.
Don't lose that little tiny bit there.
Okay.
And then we've got the cotton on the cotton reel, and again this is a really good opportunity now to put some stitching on there when you come to do your free motion, and just pop that over the top, so we're building up that layer.
Have you got a spare pin? Oh no, it's alright.
Got it?
Yeah. See, I expected that to be sticky, but it doesn't. It's not sticky.
It's just a bit claggy.
Yeah.
And then I've got the needle part here, so when I've put this down, I will show you what it looks like. And then these tiny little pieces. Now look, this is so tiny, you can hardly see it on screen. If you struggle with these tiny little bits, leave them out.
Yes.
Leave them out.
Totally.
You can do it in stitch. If you find it difficult to handle, so once you've taken the back off, if your hands can't grip that tiny little piece, use tweezers. Use tweezers.
Yeah.
And again, I'm just going to pop it under there. So you can see I didn't need a lot of that paper taken away. I didn't want, as I said, I didn't want that whole thing to be, that whole glue to be on the sheet there. But like I say, you can. That's the idea of using these mats, is that you can use the the design without any bonder web on at all. You know, sorry, I'll get my teeth in a minute. The glue, you can have it all there. So look, there's my little tiny bit there which the thread goes around, and it is tiny. Now when this is cooled and you pull it off your mat, whatever you're using, if you do that, just be careful of those little tiny bits there. I'll lift that up in a minute so you can see. So then we'll put the plinth down. So you remember we wanted it so it's just that little bit there that's got the glue.
Yeah.
So I'll just cut a little bit more away. So I've literally just taken a little bit of that paper backing off, and that's just going to sit over the top. I'm probably about right. And then you've got an opportunity to make sure it's lined up, so we can pull that back a bit.
Perfect.
And line it up. Okay, but I think that's a little bit that needs taking away. There we go. Practically got it all off now, but I don't want to put it all off. Oh, I moved that. Oh, it's typical, isn't it? So we'll pop that down. So I think that's okay. Now we'll just, see, I can use my, don't ever think a seam unripper is only purely for taking out stitches.
It's a perfect applique
pokey tool.
Yeah.
Well, anything that's got a point. And then of course we've got the lovely heart, so we can pop those down. Adrienne, do you want to pop a couple down? And you can just place them as you wish. Oh, Angela says the colours are showing up really well. Oh, that's good. And Gemma says yes, tweezers are really good. And Jackie's saying yes, we can see fine. Oh, that's good. So within a few minutes, I know we've been nattering and messing about, and look, it's 7:45, and you know, that'll do.
There we go.
We've put together the design.
Yeah.
So we're good to go. Now I will iron this, so because then you can see how to use a mat. But please, please, please do consider using your brown craft mat that you may well have lurking in a cupboard somewhere, or putting this straight down onto your fabric.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. But these are made for applique. That's what their job is.
Yeah.
So just place your iron down. All we're doing is adhering the hearts. Obviously all of this is being glued to this sheet, but it will, I promise you,
lift.
It will lift.
I was just thinking, if you didn't have a mat, you could put it on like some white fabric and cut around it.
If you wanted
you didn't want to use that white fabric.
Yeah, if you wanted to, yeah. So don't forget the back of the machine and the bed of the machine, I've still got the paper on to help me lift this up.
Yeah.
So just so you know. And all I'm doing is adhering the hearts, the cotton reels, all these little tiny pieces over here, which I think I might have moved.
I thought you were just going to say burnt.
No. And if you want to, then you can go over it and give it a little iron like that. I mean, I wouldn't bother. It just needs a press. Yeah. So you're pressing down and putting that heat on there.
So I've on you know, it being on Facebook pages and things like that, a lot of people don't like this raw edge applique.
No.
And is that, and that's where you can start folding edges over and...
Well, that's called needle turn.
Yes.
Now that's where you would have to increase the sizes.
The size so you could get that under. But I think this looks super neat.
Well, you know why? Because the glue is helping bond all the fibres.
Yeah.
So it won't fray.
Yeah, looks good.
But it's a very, like that, you see, it's lovely, but there's absolutely no life about it.
No, exactly.
When we start adding stitch, there, it's come to life. And I know you're not going to see a huge amount of the detail, but Adrienne, can you see if you can hold it up to the camera? Yeah. See if you can show off, not show off, but you know what I mean, show the stitches.
Yeah.
So you can see there's gold thread, which maybe I'd go over in black now just to make it stand out.
Yeah, but you know, in person it looks
fine. Okay in real life, doesn't it? But the whole thing is brought to life with the stitch. It's quite amazing, really. So we're doing a Facebook Live, Debbie, so it's always, as you know, a Facebook Live is always on the page, always. I don't ever delete them. So now everything is glued together. It's now a motif.
Yes.
And it's cooled down because I gave you gave it enough time by letting you show the ladies the stitch.
Yeah.
And see how easily it comes off.
Yeah.
Just watch these little bits here because they are tiny, so be respectful. And just lift that up, and I'm using my lovely seam ripper again just to tease it off the page, if you like. And again, there we are. So that whole piece now, Millie's back, is one piece. Do you see? It's now one piece.
Excellent.
Which is much better now for putting onto your fabric. So if I bring my fabric in, which side is it? This side. I've got to take my paper off yet, but let's just clear the decks. Now I should have a 12 by, this is what I need.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's not your fault, Adrienne. But so now I've got my about 12.5-inch square piece of fabric. It can be whatever you want it to be. And that motif is just sitting on there. It's just one whole piece. Look, I can move it around. You know, I might decide, I'll go quirky.
Yeah.
But it gives you an idea. Hello, Millie. It gives you an idea of what it might look like. Okay, let's have a look at this. Millie doesn't see many people. just John and I.
That's because she's got hair in her eyes most of the time.
Well, yeah. I suppose. That's a bit of grass.
Well, don't make her wince.
She won't.
I've got the teeth end.
Think about me, the other end. Anyway,
come on, let's
isn't that
get
lovely
this
that she wants to come and see you. She's so friendly. So let's go back to where we were. And just to point out that it's, like I said, it's a motif that you can now put on your piece of fabric anywhere you like, but also it means that you can get it absolutely dead central, so you can fold this into quarters and get your center point and work out exactly where you want it.
Yeah.
It could be that you're going to have a little mini quilt also sticking on there, so you might want to move it up so you can get a little mini quilt draping down here.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so there's lots of things you can do. Like I said before, this is your starter for 10, and now it's down to you as to what to do with it. Debbie says, Millie. She's a sweetie. Look, she's still there. Look, she's looking at you like, I love you so much, Adrienne. Oh dear. So I'm just peeling the back off now. Look, this is the rest of the heat and bond coming off of there. And be careful again. You know, don't be gung ho. Just be respectful, because you spent time putting it together. And then just peel it all away. Put it in your floor bin, and then we can now get seriously into gluing it down with the iron and putting it in a central position. It looks really, really cool. Angela says we need a Millie applique.
Oh yes.
Oh gosh, how would you do that with all her fur?
Well, I don't really. I'd have to start off with the basic outline shape.
Yeah.
So I've started with all the patterns actually. So one of the considerations was maybe I should do the whole thing as one,
right,
and then you layer up.
Okay, yeah, that's one way of doing it.
Yeah, and that sometimes on patterns it's easier, sometimes it doesn't really make sense.
Oh, look at her looking at you.
But with Millie, for instance, I do the whole shape as one and then add slithers.
Yeah.
To slithers of fabric.
Fur.
Yeah, and then her nose and
stuff.
A lot of the designs have eyes, and now looking at how tiny that is,
yes, yeah,
you're better off just
doing a
stitch or a stitch. Or
so good. You know, this has been really useful to you, hasn't it?
Yeah,
because you can see how it is for us stitchers.
Yeah, so I mean I would still add it as a piece if you wanted to, you know, if you're able to cut such a 1 mil eye.
I can't. I mean, even so, I got that a little bit wonky, but I was doing it on the side, so I can be forgiven. Angela, it's still available for purchase. It'll be on Adrienne's website until midnight Wednesday.
Yeah, 99p.
Yeah, 99p. So it's an absolute bargain.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the fun thing is to do the stitching. So let's just go back to the front. I always like saying that because it sounds stupid. little things. So now it's a case of then choosing what threads you're going to use. Now look, I've got a plethora of threads here. Now look, this is my bobbin fill. You don't have to use it, but it does make a difference to your stitch. It means that if it is going to bring the stitch up from the bottom, and that's all about your tensions, it's not as thick as maybe like a Gutermann polyester thread, something like that.
It's visible.
Yeah.
I think we should do the thread just to bring it to life a bit.
Oh, without, yeah, I'll do some.
Yeah.
I will do some.
And then, but I mean the actual thread bit.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
And in this bit, so we can see it.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Who's the stitcher? But what I can do is I could at this point, you see, you've got the design that Adrienne did with the curly whirly for the stitch, yeah?
Yeah.
So this is where your light box would come in handy, because now we would have to see through. Well, actually, I haven't got any stabiliser on it with this at the minute.
Yeah, see if you can see it through that
You
fabric.
will with this. There.
Oh yeah.
Let me just do that.
So you could just draw it on with a heat erasable.
You can just about see it. I'm peering at the screen, but you can see it in real life.
Yeah, you can.
But I have been using a tearaway stabiliser. Because we're using heat and bond and you're not really going over the edge, in other words, you're going to be stitching only on the heat and bond, you don't necessarily need a stabiliser on the back of this.
No, because it's thick enough.
Yeah. It's going to hold that fabric. It's not going to let the fabric pucker.
Yeah.
But you could put it in a hoop. I always like to put it in a hoop as well. I didn't today, I just used the tearaway stabiliser, but putting it in a hoop helps. And you put it in a hoop upside down so it's flat against the bed of your machine and not raised like hand embroidery.
Oh, I know, yeah.
So it's the opposite way.
Yeah.
If you were to do this stitch here, which is the thread looping around, I would be inclined to use something behind there.
Yeah.
First of all, you possibly could get it in a hoop, but it's quite near the edges.
Yeah.
So I would put a little bit of stabiliser behind there and tear away, and then stitch and then tear.
Yeah.
Far better to do that than muck it up, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we can just trace through that. In fact, if you pass me that black pen. So let's just go back to the side again, because it's always good to see this in action. So I'm going to, because this is true to size, pretty much.
Yep.
I'm going to just put my pattern underneath, and this is the line that I'm going to trace, which is the thread coming down. And by all means, where Adrienne has stopped there, in the one that I did, which is not easy to see, and I always wish I'd done it now in a different colour. The gold, is travelling down further.
Yeah.
Which you know you can whatever. So let's take the mat away. Oh, Millie, you're sitting there nice and cosy. So I'm just placing my pattern over the top of the design. And of course you can go rogue, you don't have to follow this completely. So with the pen, because she starts here, I'll have to do it and then show you. And it's a heat erasable pen. You could use chalk, use what you like. Don't use a regular pen. You've got to, and if you're not sure, cheat. Use a heat erasable, but test it on your fabric first to make sure that it does erase.
Oh,
so,
wouldn't that be awful?
Well, these will leave ghosts in marks, so we can just do a off
Don't
the page
forget your
like
needle.
that. Got to do my needle. So, so I've just traced that. I don't know if you can see it well at all, but I've just traced that, and that's ready now for stitching, and that makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
And like I say, I would do. I've got some stabiliser, fairly handy. If not, there's a roll just beside your leg.
Oh, yeah.
So what we'll do a little bit of stitching. We'll see if we can get some a little bit of stitching done. We're not going to do it all, it'll take another hour, but you'll get the gist. But do start experimenting with all your colours. Bring all your colours in like this and decide what green I did the foliage. Maybe bring some gold in as well. So bring all your colours in. It doesn't matter if they are all Gutermann. If you don't have to have specialist threads,
no,
just use Gutermann, it's fine. Okay, you mustn't get hung up about stuff like that. So I'm going to set the machine up, Adrienne. I'm just going to go to the front for a moment because otherwise it's really boring.
Just do purple.
You sure?
Yeah, I think purple would go actually quite well.
It's a bit rogue, isn't it?
Well, I
purple.
didn't see what you had in there.
Yeah, well, I was doing the flowers that you disapproved of.
Oh.
Whoops. Oh dear, did we just lose it there? Yeah, we lost it, but I think you'll come back. Do you see it? So where it says live, it's starting ticking up again.
Oh yeah.
That's what happens. Because we're on the hour.
Oh, I see.
But what I'll do is I'll put it on the side view, and I might get Adrienne to zoom in a little bit. Yeah, sorry, we lost you there for a nanosecond. So let's just transition that for you. So Adrienne, I wonder if you could zoom in. You'll have to do it on the camera.
Right, okay.
So what I've got is I've got bobbin fill in the bottom here, and Adrienne's going to zoom in a bit so we can see. I've got to do this at a funny angle. And I've got bobbin fill at the bottom. You don't have to do that, like I said. Let me turn the light off, it might help.
Where's the zoom button?
Oh, no. On the top. You see that? Yeah. See how you get on. Oop, 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 oop. Oh, that's very zoomy. That's fine. I think that'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I might have to shove you out the way.
Okay.
Sorry, Mills, I've got to move. Frightened when I move. There we go. Yeah, and I've got some embroidery thread on the top, but again, don't worry if you haven't got embroidery thread. Use just ordinary Gutermann. And because I've got bond web on here, heat and bond, whatever, I'm not stabilising, but you could put in a hoop and you could use tearaway. So shall I do this plinth part here, Adrienne?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to do the machine?
Either.
I'll do the machine then. So if you're starting on the machine, start just this side of the bobbin, because we can go all the way around the machine and stop this side of the bobbin.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't want to go across the bobbin.
No.
We can with some things, but not the bobbin. So I'm going to start with my needle in and my foot down. I've got my feed dogs dropped and I've got my open toe embroidery foot on. I've loosened my tension, so my tension is actually on 3.5. You might want to go down to 3 because you don't want tight stitches. A couple of little stitches on this spot just to get that thread going, and I'm just going to snip my thread away, otherwise it irritates me. So I'll just snip it away. Okay, foot down. Now if you bring any glue up, and you'll see it on your needle, every now and again just get your hand in there, your fingers in there, get your foot off the foot control, get your fingers in there and just peel some of that away. You will get that happening. So here we go, let's just start. So nice and relaxed, fairly fast, and just move your fabric nice and easily. Nice consistent speed. You can always stop and pivot. If you're an experienced free motioner, you can go north, south, east, west without having to pivot. So we're going west to east now. It's a little bit wriggly, but I would ask that you do at least 3 rows of stitching. I'm just going to make sure you can see, make sure my hands are not in the way. If you have a needle down facility on your machine, then use it because it helps you pivot. So we're just coming round the machine, and at this stage I'm actually going to go down my needle shaft there because that's a good time to do it. So I'm just going to go round. I'm using a size 12 needle, and it's one of those things where you need to decide what works best for you. A 14 is far too thick. So keep your speed up Move your fabric gently. And I'm going to do the little, what do you call it, tension things at the top there when I come round again. So just coming round the top of the machine now. And if you have got a table, even if it's a little one, put it on, use it. And now we're going to stop just where the bobbin is, and I'm going to come back. So, and I do three rows always. And don't worry about if your rows don't sit on top of each other. A lot of the time, things like this are very sketchy. And I'm making a right rubbish job of it. But I'm sitting at a funny angle. So then let's just try and get it so you can see.
Could you do that without a free motion foot?
No, you must use a free motion foot, because a free motion foot doesn't sit on your machine. It hovers above your machine. Right. So it allows you to move the fabric like this. If you used a regular foot grabs the fabric and sits it firmly.
Right, I see.
And it's the feed dogs that push it along.
Yeah.
So we've lowered the feed dog so it can't do that. If you haven't got that facility, put your stitch length on 0. That will do the same sort of job.
Yeah.
But you always use a darning foot, embroidery foot, same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go backwards, which I actually hate going backwards, but because I never get it straight. I never get it perfect for me. So just coming back, keep that speed up. You can see, look, I've gone wriggly all over the place. So back to your cotton reel again. And can you see that? You won't be able to see this very much at home, but there's a build-up of glue.
Yeah.
And that's from the heat and bond.
Yeah.
So just make sure you keep that tidy. So again, this is the last layer of stitching, if you like. And keep that speed up, because I'm talking to you and I'm forgetting about the speed. And just gently move the fabric. My hands aren't gripping it, I'm literally just holding it still, bringing it round. And what you're doing is you're drawing.
Yeah.
Do you think you could do this, Adrienne?
No.
You know your limitations.
I could probably if I practiced.
Yeah. I think everybody's capable of doing it. It's just that courage.
Yeah.
Because you're controlling it. It's a bit like driving a car, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't get in a car at the moment and expect it to drive. You have to switch it on, put it into gear, you know, and it took you perhaps a year to learn how to do that with driving lessons. It's the same thing with free motion.
Yeah.
You've got to practice.
That's it.
And it could take a year. Whatever, it's however comfortable you are with it. And even though I went quite wriggly there, I went right off there. Oh my gosh, I would unpick that if I would definitely unpick that. So we're coming back to the end. So we've done our 3 rounds of stitching. So just lift your foot up, pull your work out and cut your threads. You don't have to do that. So you can see straight away, you remember how plain that fabric looked? It wasn't plain, you got pattern on there, you got the gingham, but the thread has now given it a little bit of dimension.
Makes it pop.
Pop, it absolutely does. And every time you do a little bit, I've got a needle now. You can see my needle. Every time you do more, like for instance, this looks like a solid shape.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start stitching it, it absolutely comes to life. And if we look at the one, I know, keep looking at this. It's a good job we got that example, because can you see how that the bed of the machine looks with that outline of stitch? Even though that's matching thread,
yeah,
it's sort of given it depth and dimension, hasn't it?
Definitely.
But I quite like the purple thread around there, Adrienne. It's
pink
good.
And purple always works.
Yeah. So what we can do is put the thread on the bobbin, because although we've got a coloured piece there, I want to put my own stitch on there, and we can follow this line around. But what I need is a little bit of stabiliser to go under there. So just tear some off. It's just a tear away, so it should be fine. So it's just a scrappy piece, look, and I'm going to put it under there to take the brunt of that stitching. And I'll add a little bit more in a minute. You don't need to stick it down. You can do if you want, but there's no need. And I'll just pop that under there. So it's, what do they call it? Floating. It's floating. Yeah. That's what they call it. So I'm going to do the stitch on the bobbin just there. And so foot down. You should, well, let's get this right. If you were doing free motion quilting,
yeah,
you would bring your threads up. You would be really super neat.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this is applique and because this is almost like sketchy applique,
yeah,
please don't worry about your bottom threads. Please don't worry about them. Just let them do what they want to do. Just you'll cut them off, and I always stitch on the. You hear that sound? That sound is the bonder web and the needle going through the bonder web. Just do a few little sort of backwards and forwards stitches, and once you've got that secure, then cut your thread away. If you don't, it can get snarled up into your work. Is there any way you can get a little bit closer in, Adrienne?
Yeah.
Have a little try. So with doing the threads, we're just literally going to go backwards and forwards across the bobbin. Oh, that's lovely. Look at that. Twit twoo. Except they can see where I went wriggly up here, look. That's because I was talking to you. I blame you, Adrienne. So all I'm going to do is go backwards and forwards across the bobbin. Oh, just broke my thread. Right, let's just fix that. So we could go on to the front view while I'm just doing that, otherwise it's terribly boring. Now, because I've broken my thread, there's obviously something wrong somewhere. It's got a bit grumpy. So I'm going to, hold on, I've got to move this machine so I can do it right. So I completely take the threads out. I don't just assume that it's still okay. I take my threads out and I re-thread the whole thing. And you'll notice that I'm using a really old machine here. And this is the machine even the best textile artists will use for their free motion. You don't need a fancy schmancy electronic machine. This one is perfectly, this is a mechanical one. The only trouble is I cannot see a thing. You can get needle threaders for machines.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, and it's super because it's so fine, it goes through the eye of the needle.
If you can see.
Well, the trouble is I put a 12 in here, now I can't see it. That's the problem. And of course it might end up with glue in the needle hole.
Yes, yes.
So
maybe that's why it snapped.
It's possible. Possible. I can't even get that in, Adrienne. Can you see to get that in? Because I can't see. If it was natural light, I'd probably be okay.
That's your excuse.
Oh, is that in? Yeah, that's in.
There you go.
Right. Okay. So it's just like a hand needle threader, except it's for machines. And of course, if you're using a finer needle like me and blind as a bat, then it's perfect. So let's just get it set up so it's working. And we'll go back to that view again. Did I unthread my needle again? Yes, I did. If it's going to muck about, then we'll call it a day. And this could happen to you, so don't ever think that you've done something wrong, or you know you're useless, or thanks, Adrienne. You need a daughter, a son will do, with good eyesight, to do this for you. But we're already at nearly 15:15, so we'll perhaps call it a day. I was hoping just to do that thread. Can you do it?
Absolutely.
Can't see it, you see, as bad as me. In fact, you're supposed to wear glasses.
Yeah, I know, I don't know why I didn't bring them. Oh, there we go.
Oh, well done.
I can, struggle without.
So let's see if we can do a bit more. Let's, and also if you're having problems, if you're really having problems, then practice on a piece of scrap fabric.
Yeah.
Don't do it on your best. So let's try again. It's done it again.
Yeah,
right.
Doesn't like it.
For whatever reason, I'm not going to muck about. And funnily enough, this happened to me this morning when I was doing the vine across the front. The green thread kept on doing exactly that, unthreading itself, not happy. And a lot of it is sometimes you can get a little stressed about it.
Yes, you just got to persevere.
You've got to take it all your fabric out, you've got to re-thread it. In fact, this morning I even took the bobbin out, because sometimes you get some threads in the bobbin case where it got caught. You might find that, oops, let's cut that bit, that in your bobbin case, put that there might be some loose threads. Let's just try and open this. That's another thing. I love this machine, but I can never get it open. There we go. Oh look, now you're not going to see this, but can you see there's a purple thread there?
Yes, it's all loop-de-loop.
So this purple thread will while that's still there, that will never allow me to stitch, and that's what's causing the problems. Just that little bit of thread caught in the bobbin.
Really?
Yes. If there's anything there that stops when the needle goes down, catching when it loops, when the bobbin comes around and loops it, if there's anything in the way, it'll say, I'm not playing with you. And that's exactly what happened this morning. And that's perfectly fine. You must never think that it's you. It's never you. It's a combination of all sorts of things, like what you're stitching on, what you're stitching with, whether your tension is right, whether you've got the right needle, are you going through too many layers, all of those things. So if your thread snaps, like, well, mine just kept on threading, then check that bobbin, take it all out, give it a clean, re-thread right from the beginning, and I can guarantee it'll work. But we don't have the time on the live.
No.
Gosh, we'll be here all day. But so
Excellent.
there we are. So we've ended up with, we got the starter for 10. Where's my mat gone? We got the starter for 10. I think we got some really good basics going.
Yeah.
So even from there, now you can see the outline of the machine really well. So using a darker, don't use black. A lot of people use black. It's too much.
Yeah.
But use a nice, use a variegated thread, but a tonal thread, perhaps a bit darker than your original fabric, and it makes it pop. And if we had time when we did the bed of the machine, again, it will really pop.
Yeah.
And then you can end up with something that looks like that, where it's just been brought to life, and I've added the vine.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that, Adrienne?
Yeah, it's been quite interesting actually, because in my head I had no idea how all of it fitted together, but now when I'm designing the patterns, I've got I've got a better idea on sizing.
Yeah.
And that in fact it doesn't matter if things aren't in exactly the right order, because you can lift until you've ironed that down. Exactly. You can lift and play around with it however you want.
You've got the choices, haven't you? And you can move things around, and maybe you had like the workings, if you like, of the machine, the side bit here, what I'm trying to do is this bit here. If you feel that's too big, then you can make it smaller, or expand it if you want to make it bigger.
Yeah.
It's down to you how you feel about it.
The pattern's there just as a guide, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully that's been helpful. I knew we would never finish it in the hour, because it took me a couple of hours to do that this morning. After cutting out, it took me another couple of hours to do all the stitching. And even then, I know it's not finished, because I would want to put more flowers on.
Yeah, well that's the thing, isn't it? It becomes a project from a simple pattern to... I mean, wouldn't that be lovely on a 9 square quilt?
Yes, that's what I said, right from the beginning, that it could be the front of a cushion, it could be just a quilt block, and you can make 12 of them, 9 of them, 6 of them, 4, whatever you like.
Yeah, so there you go, there's a project.
No, not today. So I'm a bit busy. Right, thank you very much, Adrienne.
Oh, thanks for having me, Mum.
It's been lovely.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And
I hope everybody else has at home as well.
yeah, don't forget it's 99p, just 99p until tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And then,
A bargain.
yeah.
Really, actually, when you consider how much work goes into creating the design, that is sensational value.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And all my patterns are launched at 99p always.
Oh, there you go. So keep a lookout.
Yeah. Usually for 24 hours, but I think I gave you 48.
Yeah. So join the Zippy Doodle Applique Facebook page.
Yeah, Zippy Doodle. Oh, I can't remember. I'll put a link.
Oh yes, because Karen says, is there a link to the Zippy Doodle Applique? It's just gone off the page.
Yeah. Where can I put it, Mum? After.
You can add it in the comments.
Okay. Yeah, I'll add it in the comments after.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will all see you again another day.
Yeah.
We've come up with another design, and hope very much that you join in again. All right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.